You ran? I ran. You ran? I ran. Where did you run from? From the alley. You were in the alley? Why? Because it was in the alley. It in the alley? Italy. But you're late on a payment. And when you're late on a payment, they call it sous francs, which means below. Sous on sous and sous, which means 1 cent or 1 penny below. But one below, okay, is actually 29 point, let me see what one below is. One below is 1 and 1 is 2, and 32 makes it 30, and 0.2 makes it 30.2. So you're below creation of Venus in the center world. But what about 23.5? Well, that would be the IT system and the birth of the sun, passageway. But what about if I double that up? Well, you get the cycle of the moon, 47. What if I triple it up? What if I double it up? What if I cut it in half? I get the half-life of the 7th gate. What if I cut that in half? I get electric company in the twin heavens. What if I do that again? Well, I get the one spirit of life in both worlds. 164, God. But what if I split it up again? Well, I get the 2 heavens of communication of creation. And what if I split it up again? Well, instead of getting 167, I now get 461. I get the spirit in Zion, Israel. And what if I do it again? Half and double that and double that and double that and double that until you get into that. If we bring it down over here, 23 and half of that, and double that and double that. Here I halved it. I have to do it. I halved it here, and I doubled it here. So from 167 to 461, that would be 306. Creation of man, which would revert to 366, would be the day of man. Remember, man on the moon. Okay, it's the same thing saying I'm center C piano. 28 is to the right of center C. I am D. Right on center C, it's 24. Saying the cat and the moon. But the whole thing is, on the other side of 28 is the dog. 24, 25, 26. In between the dog and the cat is the moon. How do you get 28 onto the right side? Well, first of all, 2 plus 8 equals to 1. It equals to the E world. 26 is now CDE. Communication, diversion, electric. 235 is BCE, Bell Canada Enterprise, a telephone line, a system for picking up whatever those dits and dots are. If we go ahead and we add on 5 here and 4 here and 2 here, 542 is in the sun, 254 is 911. The bringing on of Venus, 1 and 1 through the passage of the sun. When we get 2, 3, and 5, we show number 2 over here in this position. Number 2 takes up these 2 positions over here. Okay, number 5 takes up the 3 positions, so it's more like a right angle. Is that the right angle where it goes to this side? 2 and 3 is 5, and 5 is 5. But this 5 is made up of 1 and 4 because it's a point that comes before. Remember where the point is, right? The point is the center of one part. The point is on the bottom. It's not digital dots. Digital dots show the 7th gate because it shows the 7 and the 8 card inside of it. 2 times 3, 2 plus 3 equals 5 and 6, 11. 11 is the letter K. This is the letter E. 1 and 1 is 2. 25. 2.5 is Y. It says it is the key. Do we need to turn this key? Because if we do turn this key up and down, it'll create new numbers. I haven't thought of which those numbers are yet. But this one says the sun, 5 and 4. This one says 6 and 1, reverse. Back to the same area, passage. Passage of the halfway on the cross. The cross comes to where the center points come up, and 6 is the center to all. If we go 5 and 3, this is automatically 24. 2, 4, and 1. This is the bad cat. Electric company. Earth connected to Jupiter. Seems like we're not even on Earth somehow, or we're on an alter Earth. The Earth is split between, don't forget, we're only on islands sitting on the ocean, or in between, like tree stumps came up. I know it. North America, in 1967, which represents Terre des Hommes, which was the expo, and all the buildings were built like mug and dubbed stars. But you notice there were no points on all the stars. The points are added on in a different time, right? You have, here's one, and here's one. By creating these 3, you automatically have a center over here. If I flip this over, I get another center below. That will show me a center dot to each one. That dot will connect 2 sides. It will eventually create my mug and doved, and it creates 2 empty spots for the 7 and the 8 to pass for the card. The 8 card, if you notice in the card, there's suits that go up, and there's suits that go down, right? Planted up and planted down. Can the ocean go upside down? Let's not get into that. So now we have all these islands stuck okay, to something greater. Okay, you put something on a magnet, it doesn't come off. Have you ever been to a steel mill? Steel, okay, cotton, steel, and all these elements, things that melt, things that are boiled and go into the sky, other things melt. When you heat something, the smoke goes up. When you boil something, the steam goes up. But all the other matter comes down. Mater, matière means one part of. Tier, T-I-R. It's trifecta because you can't have, without the water and the matter, you cannot get the two together, so it takes three. The action that happens from two is three, and you have to have an encompass. If you don't encompass something, it can't become part of anything else. Within two, you can create one by putting everything together. Otherwise, you have bits and pieces and parts and elements that haven't done anything yet unless you process the element, or the element gets processed naturally. Naturally. 3 times 2, 3, and 5 equals to 6, 9, 6. At the 7th gate, it becomes 1 and 2. 1 plus, 2 minus, and 1 plus, 11, 11. So if you understand the motion of 11, 11, which is 1 times 5 and 1 plus 5, Mars, 2 times 3, 2 plus 3, communication on Earth, Venus. 3 and 5 is electric company, 5 and 2 is Earth. 3 and 2 is the W, creation, Warner Brothers creation, WBC, the war of the worlds, WWW. 2 circumflexes this way, and 2 this way, showing outside to the other world. Now, we did in a video the other day, the swords, okay? I did the video of the swords. I'm trying to figure out where these swords are, because when you put the sword up, okay, when you put the sword up, okay, and Y come together, go look at the picture cards, okay? They have the sword. This will split in half. That's the swords. But at the same time, the swords, right? We all know, hold up, let me see if I can get this down here. We all know that these swords, right? These swords, right? Isn't that the sword? And at the end of the sword, you know, and then you can put a handle on the sword, right? You can put a handle on the sword, almost looks like the sword's coming out. But then if you really want, right, you can do anything you want to this sword. We can leave this as the antenna that goes all the way up, right? Into 2 different communication centers, 1 on each side. And then you need automatically another sword to this side. So you can get the energy from one side. And now you have your building that's being built, your twin towers. Okay, you have your other side. And now you need 2 more twin towers, 2 more towers that come down. So you need a road on each side. You see the way the corner turns? You now have a road on each side in order to have this world and this world must be in between. 2 this way and 1 this way. In order to get that sword, you have to do the same thing over here in order to create this situation. Otherwise, this creation doesn't exist. You notice that this one is twice the distance as these 2 over here. And this is on the inside, split by this one, how the alternate energies, right? Here is your W, okay? Here is your Y connecting to the flag. You know, the guy comes in, he waves the flag. Well, he's waving the flag because you have landed. To this side or to this side. Now we've created the half-life, okay, right over here. Your half-life Y. This dot in the center, okay, will now connect all these areas. And at the same time, once you put that dot in the center, if you take a look, here's your W. The sin or the shin. There's so many dots and decimals. The other thing I wanted to mention is, have you ever played games before? You ever see this? 5 and 2? Well, in the cards, 5 up and 2 down. Have you ever seen the 8 card? Right? 5 up and 3 down. Have you ever seen the 6 card? 4 up and 2 down. Have you ever seen the 4 dice? Right? 4 dice. Where is it? The 4 dice, the 5 dice, the 6 dice. 4, 5, and 6. They all show 4 corners. This one shows nothing in the center, but 1 and 1 on each side. This one shows 1 in the center. Here's your difference. 5 and 6 is the difference of everything. You don't need anything else. The 1 is over here. The 2 is over here. The 3 is over here. The 4 is in the 4 corners. All we need is 5 and 6. Here's your 6. Here's your 6. And here's your 6. There's 6 in all these 3. But the only time when 9 comes alive is when 5 is alive inside the card. And that's this one over here. 2 on the outside, 1 in the center, representing 5 and 6 right over here. The 1 is opposite the 6 cube. Seconds, alternate seconds work on 2 worlds. Minutes work with the red sun and the yellow sun. The hour work with the 8 ball. When you have 1, 1, 1, you have 60 minutes and 51 minutes. 111 minutes, 60 and 51, we're now on Mars, the 7th gate. When you have 222 minutes, you now have half. You have a quarter, you have half of 360. Here, 180 is half, which is everything of one side. 60 is 1/3 of one side. 51, 42, 33, 666, 111 minutes, 222 minutes, 333 minutes. 16 times this, the half-life, 1776. 8 times this, 1776. This and 8 is 4 times 4, 4 plus 4 will recreate those number scenarios, okay, which is phi, or psi. Inside here you have 493. But this is time. We would take 9 away from here, okay, in order to get up here. So we have 9 minutes less and 1 hour more. Right? We have 111 minutes. 111 minutes, okay? When we go to regular time, in order to get to 222 in time, everything is 71 minutes. 60 plus 11, 60 plus 11, or 30 plus 11, because we need two sides, so we don't want to ruin the 11. We can't break it apart. We take 60 and 11, 11 on each side. If we minus the 11, we have 49, the gateway, 7 times 7. And we go to the 222, which is 142 minutes. You see, it's 31 minutes more than here. Alternate current. The third one is 213. ABC. How much is it? 213. 213 divided by 3 equals 271. 1 times 7, 1 plus 7, the separation of the gateway. 333 is 180 plus 33. The minus and the plus, the 33, 147. This is the added spirit, the passage, and the gateway. This is the cube of creation. 444 will put you into Pluto. 28.4, cycle of the moon, the delta moon, the DALET, and rotation of the spirit of 96, area space, 240, the Mayan calendar, 4 times 4 times 4, 4 times this, 1776. Remember, 2 to the power of 3, 3 to the power of 2, and if you look at the Olympics and all the winning positions, left and right, there's always 2 and 3 next to 1. 2 to the power of 3, 3 to the power of 2, and 1 to the power of all. So this is this thing on a time schedule. When we have 3 of these, okay, 71 and 71, it actually equals to Earth. Instead of saying 142 to Bad Cat, we're now going to say Earth 52. The difference is your 90 birth. Why? 1 and 1 is 2. 7 and 7 is 14. 1 and 4 is 5. DNA, the IT system of the sun. 2, 2, 2 of Venus. 2, 4, and 8. When we're in the power, this one becomes 4. This one becomes soul. 1, 2, 3. 2 and 1 is 3. 7 and 5 is 12. Becomes 33. Creation of the Christ. When we have the next one of this, okay, the next 7, okay, 4 times 7 will create 28, cycle in the moon. 28 and 4, the DALET, the delta angle, off to one side. D is off to one side, right? D is off to one side. So now we have this done. I'm going to come in with the second side of that, and we're going to bring 555 in minutes. Becomes 540. When we do equations, we have to break it down in the family of how the equation works. There's a recipe for an equation, and in this recipe, I'm using the time recipe, which is by 60 minutes or 60 seconds or 24 hours in a day or 12 hours for the half day or 3 hours for the quarter day of the half day used in a 12-hour period under a different scrutiny of numbers. 540 into the sun. Mars is the number into the sun. 555 is your minutes. 525. This is your B and E world. This is the B world. B and E, electric company, and Venus. Okay, 555 in minutes. Okay, 555. So sorry, 5 hours and 55 minutes is now 300. That's your bowling. All your X's. You need 12 of them to get here. And 55 and minus 45. This one is your 23.5 right over here inside your 300. Then there's 360 in your 360. Right, 16 hours and 59 minutes. 6, is that what this is? 6 hours, 59 minutes. 6 hours, 360. Plus 59 is 419. This is your communication after Mars, the other side, because 3 times 19 equals to the moon. 59, okay, in and out of 9, which is the DALET angle, the 4 that goes all the way around that I mentioned. When you minus it, becomes 301, becomes 361, which is 19 times 19, one cycle, and this cycle runs here in Saturn. I'm going to just jump up on a few more things, and I want to bring it down. Hold on a second. I wanted to bring it down to a special place. I'm not sure where it is. Hold on a second. Yeah, okay, it's on this sheet over here. I'm going to have to put a couple of sheets behind it. I'm seeing light go through. So what happens over here is when you get the 6, right, like I started, you cannot go 666 because 666 automatically drags you into the next hour. When you double up your 6 to 666, it then becomes 666, 366, 666, 366. 6 and 6 is 12, 1 and 2 is 3. 666, 366. So when we have 666, it becomes 366, that's your leap year running in that formation. So 666 keeps running your leap year, almost like we're running to a year of birth. A new fish, a new fish, a new fish, because for me the fish is number 9, okay? New fish. So 659 will create this. 759, we can't go 777, right? Here we're missing a 6 to create this. Or we're missing a 1 here, okay? And we can't even make this 0 to make 6, 6. Yes, we're missing a 1 here to create a 6, and a 6 here. We're missing 1, 6, we're missing the half-life. 1 and 6, right? You know what's funny? Because in the 7 area, right, to create the 7th gate, actually we're missing 1, 1, 6. Here, okay, for the 7th gate, but for just for 6, 6, we're missing 1, 6. Here, 5 and 1 is 6, okay? 9 and 6 is 6, 66. We don't want 66. In this one, it's 759. We want 777. So 5 and 2 is 7. 9 and 7 is 7. 27, B and E creation for the 7th gate on the farm, because all 59s are the farm. 1 and 5 and 9 and 6 equals to your 777. 777. 8 times 6. I'm trying to figure out, this is a time thing, so I'm trying to figure out there's something in time. So we see that the half-life comes in the B creation. Minus it creates 11. Add it, these two numbers on the outside equal 43, bringing this to 777. 7 hours, 59 minutes, 9 lives of the cat, bringing it to 479, the gateway of birth, and minus it, boom, we have the same number as this. 6 and 7 come together. This is your 19 by 19, 2 sides. Yellow ball, 2 sides. 2 sides, bringing me to creation. And this number over here of the half-life, 91 is the spirit, 13 is the altered current, and it all passes through Hoover Dam. And through Hoover Dam, to make this correction, goes all the way up to Saturn. So it seems like Hoover Dam is the marking of the sun, 23.5, Hoover Dam to make the correction. Or one of the corrections, because it didn't start here, it started in Europe. Okay, so wherever the waterways go in Europe, we have to bring it down here and check out what happened in not the Nile. Check what happened out there. It's in different parts of the world that they made this, okay? By removing our oils and stuff from the earth, they have altered everything. Inside 859, we need to bring it to 888. 2 times 888, 1776. 29 is your birth, 38 is your church. 9 and 8 is 17, 1 and 7 is 8. 5 and 3 is 8, 888. Remember, if you need to bring a number all the way around and back to the number, use a 0 or a 9. 9, 0 will do it all the time. Okay, it'll remain the number and stay inside the same circle, or 9 plus any number remains the number that it's with. 928. 928 is your birth into the sun. What numbers does this get? 3 by 9 equals 9. 3 by 2 equals 6. 3 by 8 equals 6. Becomes 966. Minus and plus. Now when we get to 999, that's very special. We need 40 over here, and we need 39 over here. This creates the sky. We have to add 6 to this, it becomes 46, and 39 becomes the matrix sky. 46, 56, 66, 76, 85, matrix sky. The time at night becomes 10:38 when you're adding on these numbers. There was one other piece I wanted to talk about. I want to add it in. I should wait to the next one. But the scepter is the 7th month. 7 is sept. September is 9. Octo is 8. October is 10. Nova is 9. November is 11. Deca, December is 10. December is 12. Everything added with 2. December is added with 2. And because it's a 10-month, add on 6 becomes 16 and 2. PB, BP, BP oil, bipolar, high and low inside December. The 12th month equals to 3. The 11th month equals to 2. Electric company inside blue pool. Blue pool, they're all connected to the blue. They're all connected to 2 and 10. 2, 10, and 7. 2, 10, and 8. 2, 10, and 9. All connected to the French language. All connected to the French language in that scenario. You want to talk the equational and the sun? For me, this was always the way in the passage. This goes on to the other side. By breaking this plane over here and having one D on one side, or a D here and a D here, the delta angle is down. Here's your battery, straight up and down, but the angle is this way. Doesn't matter where you're plugged in. You're plugged in north and south, but your angle's from this side to this one. 51 north, French and English. Says Mars, an electric company, runner through the moon. Shows the birth, shows the life, shows creation. Shows the moon cycle, shows the church, shows the birth. Inside the 2 words. Inside south, okay? Inside south. O and U says where? Time, heaven, spirit. Otherwise it says here. UD, sud in French. It's almost like saying bubbles. 23 equals to 107, B and E, breaking and entering. 52, Earth, breaking into the Earth, almost like making a different Earth somewhere else. 3 equals to 56, 11. 2 equals to 58, 13, and 11, 24. K, M, almost like in kilometers, the same number I used for the moon. This will create 53 equals to 8. This will create 41 equal to 5. Again, back to matrix. It goes back to being run by this one over here. 5 equals to 42. 9 lives of the cat run inside Venus and Mars. 20 is 1010. It's 2 parts. This one over here becomes 16, 167. This 20 becomes 167, and is the same number I previously used over here. There's one other number that keeps going up, 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 that when you use 2, 3, 5, 4, 6, 2, 3, 5 is the primary, then we go to double up, double up, double up. 8, 3, 2, double up to 167 becomes 767. Okay, this is the big spread. You remember there's 6, 7, 6 in gematria, right? But there's 2 7s. Look how we split this one up. And this will start to create a design that will use up, not just over here, but it'll come from here, use up this side of the board and that side of the board. Once it stays in the center of the board over here, it's taken out always from this house. Otherwise, it's taken out from around the house. This is your Monopoly board. So when we continue with this, add on 235 to everything. 3 plus 2 is 5. 9 plus 3 is 12. Okay, excuse me. 3 and 2 is 5. 9 and 3 is 12. 1 and 2 is 3. 5. 5 and 3 is 8. Now we add it again, becomes God. Now we add it one more time, it becomes 9.99. Right after God, add a 2, add a 3, add a 5, becomes 999. Your gold, 99.9. Birth, spirit, inside Jupiter, 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 Jupiter. When we break it down 23.5 in half, it becomes 1175. When we break it down in half the other way, it's 167. 5 and 7 is the running of the moon. 11 is a representation of 1 times 5, 1 plus 5, which is inside Mars. And communication, which is the BC world of Venus, is 2 times 3, 2 plus 3. They'll both create the same result, 1441. Grover Cleveland on the flag, Sesame Street, Hoover Dam. 31st president, also known as the 30th president, Herbert Hoover. Everything stems out down to Hoover Dam, Las Vegas, and these are the numbers coming in right now. It might not seem real, but when you see this in 30, 40, 50, or 100 years from now, if I'm to be remembered, you will look back to this day and say, look, that's what it was all about. And I'm not the only one. I'm just another one, because many of us feathers that are flocked in the area will bring the dust up from the ground, illuminating all of us. So it doesn't matter who it comes from, and I just get the joy of sharing it. Thank you for watching this video. Honor of Levette.